William Samuel
lakini si sahihi.
We wanted a comprehensive audit of not only the technology that was applied by the Electoral Commission, but we wanted a proper audit. Although time was of the essence, but I think we had sufficient time to carry out a proper audit, including looking at the issue of the foreign intruders, the Venezuelans, which you'd notice the court avoided in making any comment about those intrusions and invasions of the system, that technology, the IT structure, that again the court did not refer to, but probably in the judgment, the recent judgment that is coming on the 21st, they will say something about it. And therefore, I want to end by saying the rule of law should prevail. The court normally has the last word in making a statement as to what is the law of the land. But as citizens who are sovereign, we're entitled to disagree, and disagree very vehemently. I think the court, in conducting the proceedings during the hearing, I think they were patient. They listened to us. It is only the outcome that we do not agree with. Finally, I think our clients, the two petitioners, Raila Odinga and MATOKEO, may be addressing another press conference, but we are happy to talk to you on this issue.
But we saw them talking about forgeries. Did that surprise you?
No, I mean forgeries. When the DCI, the Director of Criminal Investigations, what we put before the court, a lot of it was from an agency of government. I didn't see them talking about similar incidents in matters concerning the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. That's why I was saying it was a little ideological. They were looking for things on which to destroy our case, but similarly not taking sufficient time to look at what happened on the other side. And that will be another story for another day.
Would you admit you might not have been well prepared for it?
We were very well prepared. I think compared to 2017, we were a lot more well prepared.
What would be the 2 or 3 points of mistake that you say the court might have left mistake on that?
In 50% plus 1, I think they were ideological. We are using the baseline of total registered voters in the land as against those who turned out to vote. If you read any legal material on what should be a turnout, including the Black's Law Dictionary, turnout is normally based on registered members in a country as against those who turn out to vote. So there are so many other examples we can take up.
Are you still confident on all grounds? Yeah? On all the key issues you lost?
The issues that the court formulated, but we're quite happy to live with it and talk about it another time. Philip, you want to say something?
Just on the idea that we lost on all 8-9 points, we find it incredible that that could be the holding of the court. In more than several of those cases, we had overwhelming evidence. As my senior counsel, Mr. Orengo says, the servers were not opened. The involvement of the Venezuelans for a full month before, half a month before the elections and up to the 16th of August was not explained. No, it wasn't even offered. We perhaps are a little distressed on the over-reliance of a registrar's report that has no input from us. That report was completely silent on the failure to open the servers. The servers, repeat, the servers have all the answers. The exact role, we provided evidence that the Venezuelans were downloading documents, creating documents and generating documents. None of that was touched. But as my colleague says, we hope they'll address all this in the final judgment. As somebody has said, it's incredible that we could lose on all points and they could win on all points. But as Senior has explained, it's probably the ideological aspect of this judgment.
Are you still confident that on the first it will be a different vote?
No. If they have tied their hands, they can't get out of it. They have given their final decision. It's now a question of them finding the reasons for those findings and justifying them. It's not always. I think they have some time to do it.
The other thing that I found a little bit disturbing is the presentation of the Form 34A by somebody I really respect as an advocate, Julie Soweto. It was described as hot air, but you could see when that evidence was being adduced before the court, how engaged even the justices were. So I found it rather odd for them to describe it as hot air. I think that's why I'm saying this is ideological, because they would have said on the evidence presented, we find there was more weight as to the evidence which was adduced by the other side. But to say that it was hot air and it was a document coming from the Electoral Commission, I found it very, very disturbing.
If I may explain a little further on that point made by Julie Soweto in the petition, that gentleman, Camargo's name was not supposed to be on Form 34A. If at all he was involved in this election, he was involved on the technology side. So to find it anywhere near a Form 34A raised more questions than answers. There was silence. And of course, on the issue of the famous 34A that Julie was describing, it was found to have been signed by the agents of UDA and UDM on the 7th, which is before the elections. No mention was made of that. So many things, many questions, perhaps more questions than answers, but it is the decision of the court. They have to live with it just as we have. Is that all? Thank you.
on the judgment that has been rendered by the Supreme Court judges this afternoon?
The correct way of appreciating law, which is always look for the evidence, compare the evidence against the allegation. You come up with something like staging and dumping is something we had in America. How is it done? Ours is a manual process. That is how the judges went about it. It's the correct way of going about it. Yes.
You've been here in 2013, 2017, and now in 2020. In your appreciation of the processes by the Supreme Court, what would you say?
I think this is the best. I wasn't here just 2017 one time. I was here 2017 two times. So this is the fourth petition. And I think in this one, the judges have set the bar very, very, very high. Yes, very, very high.
From the onset, when you were preparing for this case, what did it take to achieve such a verdict?
A lot of hard work, lot of hard work. This is the first time 8 petitions were filed. 2013 we had 2, and the third one about varied votes. 2017 we had, I think, only 2. Yes, there were 2. And then the third one was just 1. This was a very unique position. Well calculated by 8 petitioners, of course, as you heard the judges saying, 1 primary and the others were proxy. Yes.
Now, lastly, lessons learned, especially in how our elections are conducted in this country. What would you say is the biggest or the 2 biggest lessons from the verdict rendered this afternoon?
One is that lawyers should not over-exaggerate or over-dramatize things. Lawyers should be what they are supposed to be. Be rather more calculating. Do not have theories that you cannot back up with evidence. And the second theory, I mean, the next lesson is politicians ought to now accept defeat. You don't need to come to Supreme Court. Yes, accept the defeat. Yes, accept the victory, accept defeat.
And lastly, very lastly, I've said lastly again, let me say one more lastly, like the politicians do anyway.
Yeah.
Lessons in terms of conduct of elections. We saw 2017 there were certain improvements that were made that necessitated the conduct of these elections. Is there one fundamental or 2 lessons that you can say from this verdict, the preparation for the next election, a lesson or 2 has been learned?
Well, problem is IBC is people driven, and these people are Kenyans, and unfortunately politicians appear to now be getting some to now go and say, look, we are objecting to the result and that type of thing. It's unfortunate. It's a new trend. But they did a good job.
IBC did a lot. They were very prepared. They had a portal which was open to all Kenyans. And that portal was a game changer because any Kenyan could actually be able to view the results as they were streaming in. If you will notice, nobody complained until the last day. Nobody complained. So I think Kenyans should engage more with the process. IBC did well, can continue improving their processes, but what was done this time around was very good. So the opening of the server was negated by the fact that there was a portal that had all the forms. And I think that's where every stakeholder should have engaged more keenly and then ensure you have agents everywhere. Because you cannot come to complain and expect the court to be your agent or expect IBC to be your agent. You must have your agents in every polling center and every polling station who tell you that this is what has happened when the counting is happening, and these are the numbers that have been verified from the ground. So the correct information comes from the polling station. As the counting is happening, let the agent witness every process of the electoral process that is being undertaken by IEBC.
While here, you also wear a political hat where here as the Secretary General of the UDA party, whose presidential candidate has been declared and affirmed as winner. Yes. What is your reaction as the Secretary General of the party?
We are very excited. We thank God for the win. We thank the Kenyans for voting peacefully, for holding during the whole process in a very peaceful fashion. And we thank all the Kenyans who participated in the electoral process, because it is through voting that we are able to see who is the true leader and who is the more endorsed leader by the Kenyans. So I would say Kenyans have done their part, the court has done its part. Now it's time to allow the president-elect to take up the the mantle and lead Kenya to the next level. So we congratulate Dr. William Samoei Ruto for taking up the reins of this nation. Sasa kazi ianze.
Asante Professor Kimuda.
Tumemaliza.
But huwezi kosa kitu cha kusema as a veteran of these processes.
Ni kusema tu kwamba kila mtu amekuja kotini alisema kwamba yeye atakubali koti imesema nini. Kwa hivyo koti imeamua na tunatarajia kwamba kila mtu atafanya jinsi alisema hapo awali, na pia kuzungumza na Wakenya wenzetu tuelezane kwamba mambo ya uchaguzi sasa imeisha, na kwa hivyo sasa twende kazi.
Na Babu,
I think for me is to thank the international community. I have had the privilege during this campaign to coordinate that international space on behalf of His Excellency the President-elect, and I must say that Kenya truly has good friends around the world. We have good friends who have stood on the side and allowed us to do our thing. And so the often stated complaint of interference from beyond has really not been an issue here. And even in cases where we have had observers, and we have had observers from all corners, we have had observers from the AU, from the ESC, from COMESA, from IGAD, from the EU, from all over the place. They have conducted themselves with decorum and within the bounds of the rules of allowing us to do our thing. They have also been measured. Immediately after the declaration of the results, we had a number of countries come forward to congratulate His Excellency the President-elect, and we want to thank them for that. And for those who have been waiting for this process, we thank them too, because they have paid due regard to due process. And so for Kenya's friends and partners across the world, it can only get better under the presidency of His Excellency William Samoei Ruto.
Asante sana. George Murugara, the Member of Parliament for the Raka. In your reaction and having observed this process, what would you make of it, especially in terms of growth of our democracy as a nation?
I can assure you we've made a stride in the growth of our democracy. Where we were in 2013, 2017 is not where we are today. And this is solely attributable to IBC. That even after recommendations are made by the Supreme Court, they are moving in straight away to implement, as a result of which we are now getting better and better codes, regulations and laws, which they are using to ensure that we deliver credible, fair and believable elections. So this is very good for IBC. In fact, it was almost obvious, it was apparent that IBC had actually conducted this election so well that it would not be voted by anybody. So we almost expected this outcome from the Supreme Court. To the President-elect, first and foremost we say congratulations to William Samoei Ruto, and after that we have to assure him of a majority in the House such that he is able to execute his mandate as President, especially through the House of Parliament, in the Senate and in the National Assembly. We assure him we will be there for him, and as the majority party we will be able to deliver whatever it is he comes to us and he asks us to do for him and deliver for him. Of course, with the usual checks and balances, we must always be ready to check the executive for the sake of the people of Kenya.
Asante sana. Let me now hand over to Yvonne in studio. Yvonne, those are the reactions from the legal team that was representing William Ruto, President-elect.
All right, we apologize for that technical hitch, but it's just as well after Francis Gashuri, who is at the Milimani Law Courts, getting reactions from various members of the legal team of the IEBC and President-elect William Ruto there. Now the pictures that you are seeing on your screen are from Nandi County. You can see the streets are packed with those celebrating the result or the judgment from the 7 judges of the Supreme Court, who just this afternoon upheld the election and the declaration of William Samoei Ruto as the 5th President-elect of the Republic of Kenya. The pictures now on your screens of Kisii County as well. That is what happened just a short while ago, where the Supreme Court, like we've said, upheld the election of William Ruto as the 5th President-elect, and of course ordering that all parties would bear their own costs. And that decision by the Supreme Court was unanimous in upholding the election of President-elect William Ruto. And of course, this paves way for the swearing-in that is set to take place next week, and also coincides with the National Assembly and the Senate that have now had their first sittings gazetted for the 8th of September. And so things starting to move in that direction, away from the elections and now onto the processes that come afterwards. I just want to recap some of the reactions from some of those. We've seen Ababu Namamba, who was part of the legal team of William Samoei Ruto. And he thanks the international community. He says he was coordinating the space during the campaign. He says Kenya has friends who stood aside and allowed us to do our thing. Veronica Maina, who was also part of that team and is Secretary General of UDA, said that Kenyans have done their part, the courts have done their part, and now it is up to the President-elect. Kazi Ianze Sasa, those were her remarks. And also hearing from Fred Ngatia, comparing the 2013, 2017 and 2022 processes, saying in this presidential petition the judges have set the bar very high. We'll continue to give you more reactions as we go along, and let's get some of those from Laura Otieno, who is now joining us live from Kisumu. Laura, which part of Kisumu exactly are you, and tell us about the mood in the city of Kisumu.
Well, indeed, Yvonne, we are at Kondele, right here in Kisumu, which is an area that is considered one of the strongholds of the Azimio La Umoja, One Kenya candidate Raila Odinga. And as you can see, there's a crowd that is already forming over here, but all of them are saying that though they do not disagree with the, they are saying that they are accepting that verdict, but then they are not very happy with what has been declared. Speak to one or two of them. Start with your name. Of the verdict that has been issued by the Supreme Court a few minutes ago.
Okay, mimi naitwa Javano Doda, lakini koti ya leo wameniangusha zaidi. Baba, tafadhali, tafadhali baba, toka nje, uongee, tuweke matokeo. Tunataka utatuambia ndio tutafanya hapa Kisumu. Hapa Kisumu ni pali kwako. Baba, tafadhali, baba, hii ni bedroom yako. Baba, mambo kote wametuangusha. Hata petition moja, hata moja haijapitishwa kwa sababu ya nini?
Naona kama hapa Kondele, hata kama hamjakubaliana na hiyo decision, mmekuwa very peaceful. Je, message yako kwa vijana wenzako ni nini?
Kwa majina naitwa Stephen Okiki, mimi ni mkaji wa Kondele. Sisi kama wakaji wa Kondele hapa, ningependa kusema ya kwamba sisi vijana tudumishe amani, kwa sababu kila mara wanasimama Kondele hapa. Na sisi hata ukiangalia ungeweka bango ambayo inaonyesha tudumishe amani. Sasa baba, toka nje, uongee na watu wako, utuambie jinsi ambavyo mwelekeo ambao utachukua kama wewe baba yetu, kwa sababu hii ni bedroom yako, na sisi tunaamua ya kwamba tutadumisha amani hapa Kondele, na kuna mwenye jaribu kasi ya mwenzake. Asante.
Haya, shukrani sana. Labda just one more person. Anza na jina. Maoni yako kama
kusema ni hivi, tunangoja Raila tuambie mwelekeo, hata kama tunaje safari kwa leo tuwache. Ujeme kwa?
Kondele. Outlying
Those are some enthusiastic supporters of Raila Odinga in Kisumu who were with Laura Otieno just a short while ago, asking him to come out and speak to them. So let me just give you a summary of all of the 8 issues that had been presented by the Supreme Court for determination in this particular presidential petition. All of those petitions were consolidated into one. As to whether the technology deployed by the IEBC guaranteed accurate results, they say the court was not persuaded that the technology deployed by IEBC failed the standard of Article 86A of the Constitution on a number of issues such as integrity, verifiability, security, and transparency. And as to the second issue, whether there was interference with the uploading and transmission of Forms 34A from the polling stations to the IEBC portal, the court said there was no, or rather they say there was no credible evidence presented to establish whether there was any interference with the uploading of those forms. Further, the court said there was no difference between the Forms 34A that were uploaded on the IEBC public portal with those received at the National Tallying Center and those that were issued to the candidates' agents at the polling stations. And finally, regarding the postponement of the election and whether that resulted in voter suppression, particularly in areas like Kakamega, Mombasa, as well as the other areas that had their mini polls after the general election, they said the court found that there was no proof that the postponement resulted in voter suppression to the detriment of the first respondent, who was Azimio candidate Raila Odinga. And then the court found that there was a plausible explanation for the vote differential on account of the categories of votes who only vote for the president, such as prisoners and Kenyans in the diaspora as well. I will go through the other issues in a moment, but just suffice it to say that all of the petitions or all of the issues that were up for determination at the Supreme Court were dismissed, and that those findings by the Supreme Court were unanimous. That means all judges agreed on the matters before them and on the decision that they presented to Kenyans just a couple of hours ago. Let's get some more reaction now from one of those counties that was the subject of the petition, Mombasa County, which had its mini poll just last week, and that is Francis Mtalaki, who is in Mombasa County. Francis, kuko vipi huko Mombasa?
Asante sana Yvonne, ni kwamba katika kaunti ya Mombasa, ambapo ilikuwa ni mojawapo ya kaunti ambazo zilikuwa zimeangaziwa kuhusiana na kesi hii ya mahakama ya upeo ambayo imetupiliwa mbali. Kwa sasa taswira inaonekana kwamba kila mmoja anaendelea na shughuli zake. Kwa mfano, hapa tulipo katika mzunguko wa barabara ya Digo na barabara inayoelekea katika barabara ya Moi pamoja na barabara ya Nkrumah na ile inaelekea katika maeneo ya Feri, unaona kwamba kama ni uchukuzi unaendelea, biashara zinaendelea sawa. Wale wa Kenya, wakazi wa kaunti hii ya Mombasa, pia wanaendelea na shughuli zao. Hakuja kuwa na mbwembwe, mahanjam na zile sherehe ambazo tumeweza kushuhudia katika kaunti mbalimbali kuhusiana na kutupiliwa mbali kwa kesi ile ya Urais na kuweza kutangazwa kwake Rais mteule William Ruto. Lakini kwa sasa nipo na mmoja wa Kenya pamoja na mkazi wa kaunti ya Mombasa, Peter Otieno, ambaye pia ni mwenyekiti wa kitaifa masuala haya ya wana magari. Tueleze, labda umefuatilia kwa karibu kile ambacho kimefanyika katika mahakama ya upeo, maoni yako ni yapi kwa?
Asante sana bwana Mtalaki. Wajua, koti ya upeo ndio koti kuu ya Jamhuri ya Kenya, na vile wameamua, hata kama imekudhuru haijakudhuru, lazima ukubaliane nayo. Kitu muhimu sisi kama wa Kenya sasa tukubali, tuendelee mbele na hiyo biashara zetu kama kawaida, na sisi tunafikiria kwamba kulingana na vile serikali sasa tuko nao mpya, tunafikiria kwamba itatufanyia kazi vile tunataka, na itafanya na sisi kama wanabiashara kwa njia ya amani, bila mapendeleo na bila kututeza.
Alafu pia ukiweza kuangalia Mombasa ni moja ya kaunti na iliangaziwa sana, hususan baada ya kuahirishwa kwa kura za ugavana. Unaona kutupiliwa mbali kwa ile hoja ilikuwa ni sawa, kusema kwamba hakuwa na ushahidi wa kutosha kuhakikisha kwamba labda Mombasa na Kakamega ziliweza kuhujumu kipute cha urais.
Sasa kulingana na hiyo, kila mtu alikuwa anajua vile anavyoongea pale. Sitaki kuingilia sana kama mwanabiashara. Kitu ambapo sisi tunataka ni biashara yetu iende vile ilikuwa naenda, na at least naye tuwekewe biashara iwe njia kwa rahisi, malaisensi mingi zitolewe, zipunguzwe, watu wengi waingie biashara, vijana wapate kazi. Wajua biashara ukiweka kiwango kikubwa cha kulipa ushuru na zile za kulipa leseni, inakuwa ni watu wachache sana ndio wanaendelea na biashara. Watu wengi wanatoka katika biashara. Kwa hivyo hiyo sio biashara na haiwezi kuleta kazi kwa wingi. Sisi tunataka kazi, tunafikiria hii vile Mheshimiwa Ruto alisema kwamba hii serikali yake itakuwa ni serikali ya mahasla. Tunataka kuiona na tuanze na zile kampuni zote ambapo zilikuwa zimeanguka ziendelee na zifanye kazi, vijana wapate kazi. Tuko na vijana ambapo wamefanya university, wamemaliza, wamehitimu katika engineering, katika udaktari, katika management, na wana kazi, tunakaa nao nyumbani. Sasa kuna maana gani kwenda kusoma?
Asante sana. Kuna mmoja wa Kenya hapa, tueleze majina yako alafu tuambie labda mahakama ya upeo imetoa uamuzi wake, umekubaliana nayo, maoni yako ni yapi?
Kwa sasa kwa majina naitwa Kennedy Okudo Mwamba. Cha muhimu, uchaguzi umefanywa, mlalamisha alifika kotini na koti imetoa uamuzi wake. Sisi kama wa Kenya, cha muhimu ni amani. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba Rais mteule William Samoei Ruto aweke utofauti yake na wale wapinzani wake kando, sasa hivi afanyie wa Kenya kazi. Cha muhimu ashirikishe na angalie sehemu zile mbalimbali kikazi alivyotuahidi, maisha mazuri, afya na mengi. Sina mengi ya kusema, cha muhimu tusonge mbele, tusahau yaliyopita.
Asante sana. Na Yvonne, umeweza kusikia kutoka kwa baadhi ya Wakenya wakazi wa kaunti hii ya Mombasa wakisema kwamba mahakama imekwisha toa uamuzi wao na ni sharti kwamba kila Mkenya aweze kukubaliana nalo, na kwa sasa wanachotaka basi ni kuhakikisha kwamba yale ambayo wameweza kuahidi wa Kenya yaweze kutimia, jinsi walivyokuwa wakizunguka katika sehemu mbalimbali kukampeni, kuwarai wakazi na wapige kura kuweza kuwapigia kura. Na kwa sasa picha unavyoziona ni kwamba ni hali tu ya uchukuzi katika kisiwa hiki cha Mombasa, kila mmoja akiendelea na shughuli zake. Hapa hapajakuwa na mbwembwe na mahanja na vifijo ambavyo tumeweza kuviona katika sehemu mbalimbali, lakini wakazi wanasema kwamba ni sharti maisha yasonge mbele, na sasa wanataraji kwamba watakuwa na uona rais mteule akiweza kuapishwa na shughuli nzima za kibiashara na shughuli ambazo zinahitajika kufanya kila siku kuweza kutafuta mkate yaweze kutimia. Hapa pia maafisa wa polisi, unaona kwamba katika muda ambao tumekuwa hapa kumekuwa na magari ya maafisa wa polisi wakiweza kushika doria kuhakikisha kwamba kila kitu kushwari, kuhakikisha kwamba pia usalama umeweza kudumishwa hususan katika kisiwa hiki cha Mombasa. Yvonne.
Shukran sana, Francis, from the city of Mombasa. Now, I want to just explain what you're seeing on your screens now. So on the left is Mombasa, where we've just been speaking to Francis from Talaki. As you can see, business as usual. Now, on the right-hand side of your screen, there's two sets of pictures. The top right-hand side is Karen, that is the Deputy President's residence, where President-elect William Samoei Ruto is expected to make a statement any moment now in reaction to the judgment that came out of the Supreme Court. And at the bottom right-hand side of your screen is Nandi County. You can see residents poured out into the streets in celebration of the results, or rather the judgment from the Supreme Court, which is as follows, and it was unanimous. These are the orders from the Supreme Court, the final orders, that the presidential election petition number 5 of 2022 is dismissed and that as a consequence, the Supreme Court judges unanimously declare the election of the first respondent, that is Dr. William Samoei Ruto, as President-elect to be valid under Article 143 of the Constitution. And finally, regarding costs, this being a public interest matter, the Supreme Court judges ordered that each party shall bear their own costs. So those are the orders coming out of the Supreme Court. Fifth elected president of the Republic of Kenya. I just want to read that for you now once again. This tweet was actually posted 6 minutes ago, and he says, "With men it is impossible, but not with God, for with God all things are possible." Mark 10:27. So getting reactions now from both sides. That's William Samoei Ruto, the President-elect of the Republic of Kenya, and Raila Odinga, who was the main petitioner in the Supreme Court. And of course, reactions continuing on your screen now. On the left-hand side is Kapsabet Town, and on the right is the Deputy President's residence in Karen. Any moment now, we are expecting to hear from him there. Faisal Abdurrahman is now in Garissa. Let's get some reactions from him now. Faisal, what's the situation like in Garissa? Celebration, business as usual? Which is it?
Okay, shukran sana Yvonne, ulivyosema tu tunakujia katikati mwa mji wa Garissa, ambapo eneo bunge la Garissa Township, ambapo ni Adan Bare Duale ndiye bunge mteule wa eneo bunge hili kwa mara yake ya 4 amechaguliwa na chama cha UDA. Biashara inaendelea vilivyo, hali ni tulivu, lakini baada tu ya mahakama ya upeo kutupilia mbali kesi iliyowasilishwa na kiongozi ya Azimio la Umoja wa Kenya Raila Odinga, kutupilia mbali na kusema kuwa rais mteule ni William Samoei Ruto katika kaunti ya Garissa. Wakazi wamejitokeza unavyoona na wanasherekea wakisema kuwa mahakama imefanya uamuzi wa haki. Nitaweza tu kuzungumza na diwani mteule, uweze kutueleza tu hisia yako mseto katika eneo bunge la Garissa katika kaunti ya Garissa.
Majina yangu kamili ni Hassan Gele, MCA Baraki Ward, UDA ticket. Ni furaha kubwa kujua kwamba rais wetu wa Kenya mwaka huu 5 itakuwa William Samoei Ruto. Hii ni serikali ambayo tumeiunda na ambayo tunatarajia itabadilisha maisha ya Wakenya. Na ni furaha kubwa kwamba serikali pia imefanya amani, uchaguzi ya amani, na Wakenya wote wako na furaha kwamba ushindi wa Rais William Samoei Ruto umeshuhudiwa pia na mawakili mahakama kuu ya nchi ya Kenya, ya upeo wa nchi wa Kenya. Wafanyikazi na pia UDA supporters wako na furaha kubwa, na tunatarajia kwamba Rais William Samoei Ruto atabadilisha uchumi na maisha wa Kenya, hasa model ya bottom up approach. Hii ni serikali ambayo tulikuwa nasema iko na plan. Na hisia ambayo wa Garissa wanasema ni kwamba rais ni William Samoei Ruto na maisha sasa itaendelea bila kesi ya kotini.
Labda majina yako, labda unaona mahakama imefanya uamuzi wa haki, na wito wako kwa viongozi wa Azimio la Umoja na hasa wa UDA pia.
Asante sana Citizen TV. Kwa majina anaitwa Amran Mohamed Hassan. Western. Leo nina furaha sana. Tunaomba Mungu na tunashukuru Mungu ya kwamba na William Samoei Ruto si mteule tena. Baada ya siku 7 ndio atakuwa rais ya hii nchi kirasmi kabisa. Sisi tunasema vile mahakama imeamua tulivyotaka kama Wakenya. Tunashukuru mahakama sana, na tena nashukuru Wakenya vile wameidumisha sana usalama katika hii nchi. Asante.
Labda baba, utueleze tu hisia yako, majina yako kamili.
Mimi naitwa Hassan Mbare. Leo niko na furaha sana vile court ameamua na president ya court. Tunafurahi sana vile aliongea na alisema maneno ya ukweli, hakusema maneno ya uongo, alisema moja maneno ya ukweli. Sisi tuko furaha sana. So sasa tunajua maisha ya Kenya ataanzwa leo na president ya William Ruto. Ile wale iko yote bottom, sasa ndio mambo yatakuwa mzuri. Bottom yatakuwa mzuri na maisha yatakuwa mzuri, chakula atakuwa mzuri, bei tatarbushwa, kile kitu alisema yote yeye ataanza sasa safari.
Labda kama mwananchi wa kawaida. Okay. Labda kama mwananchi wa kawaida. Labda ni furaha tu na hisia ya watu. Mko mbele kamera, labda tu kutueleza hisia zao. Labda unatarajia nini kutoka serikali ambayo mimi
All right, we apologize for the freeze, and that signal that was from Garissa with our Faisal Abdul Rahman. He was in the heart of Garissa town as well. Before we get to Kwale, or are we ready with Kwale? Before we're ready with Kwale? All right, let's go to our Nikki Gitonga, who is in Kwale County now, to give us some reactions from there. We'll come back and give you the reactions from both William Samoei Ruto and Raila Odinga in just a moment. But first, Nikki Gitonga in Kwale. Nikki, Kwale, mambo vipi? Watu wametulia ama?
Nipo katika kaunti ya Kwale, na pengine tu hali ni shwari katika kaunti hii ya Kwale baada ya mahakama ya upeo kutangaza kwamba rais mteule William Ruto alichaguliwa katika ile njia iliyo haki na huru. Ningependa pengine tuonyeshe hali ya barabara ilivyo, na kwa hivyo hakuna mbwembwe kama zile kaunti zingine, lakini tunajua kwamba eneo hili pia kunao wale ambao pengine wamefurahikia kuchaguliwa kwa William Ruto kama kuwa rais, na kuna wale ambao pia wanatoa ujumbe wao kwamba litakuwa ni jambo la muada iwapo watu watadumisha amani na kukubali hali ilivyo. Wacha nizungumze na wakazi wa kaunti ya Kwale. Pengine mzee, matarajio yako ni gani sasa wakati William Ruto atakapokuwa akiingia ofisini?
Saa hii kwanza tunatoa shukrani sana kwa Supreme Court, na tunaraha sana saa hii tuko na president wetu William Ruto. Kuanzia leo tunaomba tarehe 13 ikifika aapishwe, tuendelee na biashara yetu. Na mimi natoa shukrani sana kwa watu wetu wote wa Kenya, wametulia vizuri bila maneno. Na mimi naomba Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga naye ashukuru, atoe shukrani sana kwa William Ruto kwa ushindi wake. Ndio hii nchi tuendelee mbele.
Asante. Maoni yako pengine kwa kifupi ni gani? Nitakusikia.
Okay, sawa. Kwa majina naitwa Cliff Yobaga. Kuna kitu moja ambao mimi najiuliza. Umeelewa? IBC ni mtu mmoja, unajua in future kwa hivyo itakuwa ni mtu mmoja ama
tunataka sasa tayari rais mteule ashatangazwa. Matarajio yako ni gani kwenda mbele?
Matarajio yangu kwa saizi, okay, unajua tusipigane, tukue na amani. Kitu ya muhimu tukue na amani. Wewe tupigane, wanaenda na machopa kule juu. Unaelewa? Ile tu haki ifanyike, sawa?
Asante sana. Usema amani. Haya nawe.
Haya, kwa majina naitwa Masudi Muhammad. Mimi kama mkazi wa Diani naomba vijana wenzangu, mimi kama kiongozi wenu, tuendelee na amani, tudumishe amani. Rais tushapata, kazi iendelee sasa.
Asante. Kifupi kijana.
Kwa majina naitwa Kimshedi, mkazi wa hapa Diani. Mimi kwanza nikushukuru mahakama kwa kazi njema aliyoifanya na kutoa haki ambayo tulikuwa tunaisubiri, na pia na rai vijana wenzangu, maana sisi ndio watu tunatumika sana kisiasa. Saa hii ni wakati wa kuwa waangalifu, wanasiasa wasitumie, tuendeleze kudumisha amani na Mungu atatujalia hii serikali ikiingia, inshallah kwa uwezo wa Mungu mambo yatakuwa vizuri, na tunaiombea hii serikali yetu.
Haya, matarajio yako kwa rais mteule William Ruto ni gani?
Kwa majina naitwa Kennedy Aaron CBS. Mwanzo ninashukuru kwa amani ambayo imeendelea kuonekana hapa Diani. Tunaomba vijana muendelee na ino amani ambayo mmeiweka, na tunajua hapa kuwa Diani ni destination ya wazungu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba open up ya wazungu wazidi kukuja ili tuendeleze na biashara zetu.
Haya, kidogo na tunaona kila mtu anataka kuzungumza.
Haya, kwa majina yangu naitwa Taisi Ukesa, mkazi hapa Diani. Kwa hivyo ningeshukuru kwanza mahakama ya juu kwa kuweza kufanya uamuzi ulio sahihi na ulio wa haki.
Asante. Watu ni wengi jamaa. Haya, Mheshimiwa Mshenga, naona umekuja mbio, umeona Citizen iko live. Haya, una yapi kusema?
Mimi ni furaha na tumeamini wacha Mungu aitwe Mungu. Safari ya Mheshimiwa Ruto ilikuwa ni ndefu na Mungu ametubariki. Sisi tunashukuru Mungu, Kenya sasa iende mbele. Watu wakubali matokeo. Majina naitwa Mshenga Vuya Ruga, mshirikishi wa UDA Kwale County.
Asante. Naona hayo ni tafadhali sekunde moja.
Sekunde moja nasema hivi, serikali yenye inaingia saa hii ishughulikie kazi. Si wasiregerege kidogo hata kidogo. Ni kazi. Kazi.
Tumeshukuru kwa majina.
Asante jamani.
Kwa jina anaitwa Mohamed Abdi. Tumeshukuru kwa William Samoei Ruto kwa ushindi wake.
Asante. Hizo ni kauli za nasukumwa leo. Ni kauli za wakazi wa kaunti ya Kwale. Wanasema kwamba basi litakuwa ni jambo la mwala vile sasa William Ruto ambaye ndiye rais mteule na baadaye ambaye ataapishwa, kuwe na amani na angalau basi kama ni wao vijana wapate kazi na taifa lisonge mbele kutoka hapa.
Shukran sana Nikki, waambia wakazi wa Kwale wakupeleke pole pole, unasukumwa sana. Haya, let's take a look at some reactions. I want us to go to Twitter now very briefly and get some reactions, although at the bottom of your screen you can see now, this is at the Deputy President's residence in Karen. You can see the various leaders of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance making their way. This is what we've been promising you, that William Samoei Ruto bound to make a statement any moment now, and that statement is about to take place. Remember, he's just put out a tweet quoting a Bible verse, Mark chapter 10 verse 27. You can see various elected leaders, governors, members of National Assembly, as well as party leaders now making their way there. We should be hearing the statement any moment now, following the declaration and following the judgment by the Supreme Court of Kenya just this afternoon, declaring William Samoei Ruto as validly elected under Article 140C of the Constitution of Kenya. So the statement about to happen any moment now. Remember, the swearing in and all those processes now follow the events that have taken place at the Supreme Court today, including the first National Assembly and Senate sittings that are set to happen 3 days from today on the 8th of September. And of course, many others that will follow with the swearing in next week, which will be 7 days after the first Tuesday, following 7 days of the Supreme Court judgment. But for now, the more immediate thing will be to hear from the President-elect of the Republic of Kenya. Of course, all of those required checks that are taking place there. This is live from Karen, the Deputy President's residence, and this has been his official residence and office for the last 10 years, and it'll soon be occupied by a new entrant, and that is Rigathi Gachagua, who is the Deputy President-elect of the August 9th general election. And of course, William Samoei Ruto will be moving out of this residence fairly soon and into State House, Nairobi, following that judgment by the 7 Supreme Court judges today, which was unanimous in its findings of the conduct of the August 9th general election, particularly the presidential election that was conducted on the 9th of August, and the declaration that was made on the 15th of August. Celebrations continue in Nakuru County, there with residents celebrating the decision by the Supreme Court judges this afternoon upholding the election of William Ruto, that declaration that was made by the chair of the IEBC on the 15th of August. Let's just get a few reactions from some of the main protagonists in this Supreme Court petition on Twitter. Let's put some of those tweets on the air while we try to stabilize the shots coming out of Nakuru County. And just a quick reminder that we are awaiting, what you're seeing now on your screen is the Deputy President's residence in Karen, expecting William Samoei Ruto, the President-elect, to make his statement. But let's check out some of the tweets, the reactions to the Supreme Court judgment delivered this afternoon. Let's start with William Samoei Ruto, who, quoting Mark chapter 10, verse 27, saying, "With men it is impossible, but not with God, for with God all things are possible." Let's take another tweet now from, so there's a tweet from William Samoei Ruto. Let's move to Raila's tweet on the same. Let's check that out, or let's do Martha Karua first, saying, "The court has spoken, I respect but disagree with the findings." Let's check out the next tweet in reaction to that. Let me read you Raila Odinga's tweet now. Just a short while ago, he says, "We've always stood for the rule of law and the Constitution. In this regard, we respect the opinion of the court, although we vehemently disagree with their decision today." And he quotes that statement that I read to you earlier. I want to read another tweet here from Madam Rachel Ruto. It was a great one. I want to see if I can find it. Here we go. And this was Rachel Ruto just congratulating her husband, William Samoei Ruto, on that win. Of course, quoting a verse saying that the work begins now. right, so celebrations continue in Kapsabet town, in Nandi and other areas as well. And also you can see preparing for the President-elect William Ruto to address the nation. And Brenda Wanga is there. Brenda, what can you tell us? How much longer will we wait for the address? We've seen various elected leaders who are there. Any indications as to what time the address will begin?
Well, indeed, Yvonne, we are at the Deputy President's residence, now holding the President-elect, waiting for him to come and address the press, members of the press, politicians, and indeed the entire nation. His inaugural address as the President-elect. We have been waiting for this address since about 2 p.m. Just half an hour after the verdict from the Supreme Court, the people had gathered here, broke into song, cheer, dance. The President-elect also coming to join them briefly in that celebration. Then they told us they were taking a short break and then they will be back with this address. So all signs indicate, Yvonne, that this address is just minutes away from happening. It will be his first speech to the nation as the country's fifth President-elect, of course, waiting for that swearing-in exercise next week that now cements his place as the fifth President of the Republic of Kenya. But in the meantime, it is all systems go. Everyone here, his supporters who have been waiting for this, just eagerly anticipating that address. We have seen members of his legal team have already made their way here, perhaps just to buttress that victory in court. They have been placed at a vantage position. If you can see in the images, they are at the very front of the podium there. Perhaps they will be addressing it. We're not so sure yet just what form or manner this address will take. But it is clear that the people who are here, especially those who have walked this journey with him, are very excited to hear what will be his word as the country's President-elect, as they also tell us they're gearing up for the swearing-in ceremony that will be taking place sometime next week. As for now, everyone, is just a matter of wait and see. First seats, of course, placed there, we're told, for the President-elect, the incoming First Lady, the Deputy President-elect, and the Second Lady, I'm not sure if that is the correct term, also just joining the duo on stage for this inaugural address to the nation, Yvonne, from the President-elect and his deputy. See you.
Yeah, Brenda, I have two questions for you. Maybe I'll just ask them all at once. Could you speak to us about some of the notable leaders you've seen, both from within the alliance and perhaps maybe we can call them at this point friends of the alliance? And also, has there been a significant change in the mood? You've been there, I think, the whole day from before the Supreme Court judgment was delivered and up to this moment. Can you describe if there's been a change in the mood, what that has been like for the entire morning or the entire day thus far that you have been at the residence?
Indeed, Yvonne, we did come at the Deputy President's residence at around 10:30 a.m. this morning. From that moment, the dignitaries had already started making their way here. Most of the people were speaking to the politicians, telling us that they were confident, even before the ruling was made, that they were confident they were coming here for a celebration. The confidence levels had been high since morning, but once the announcement was made, like I mentioned earlier, the mood did change considerably, switched up a notch higher with the celebrations, the singing and the dancing. So it has been a mood that was gradually building for the supporters of the President-elect now, saying that they had done, confident that they had done what needed to be done on the campaign trail. They had made sure that people came out to vote, and when that victory was challenged at the Supreme Court, saying that they had also put in the legal work, the legal legwork, as well as what they said were good presentations before the Supreme Court, and they were confident that what they had done would assure them of a victory even at the Supreme Court. So for them, the confidence levels had been already high, but the confirmation, of course, just cementing the win for them. So the mood has been gradually building towards the celebration that I think for most of them the climax would be the address by the President-elect. We have seen quite a number of notable figures here, many of them coming in, like I said earlier, from around 10, 11, all through the Supreme Court verdict, the duration of the Supreme Court verdict. Some of them were still coming in. We've seen a number of governors seen, like I mentioned earlier, senators, members of parliament. We've seen friends of the alliance, like you call them, like the former governor Obado is here. We've seen the former governor for Makueni also we've seen former governor candidate, for instance, Cleophas Malala, have also seen him here. Former MP for Langata, Nixon Korir. So there are quite a number of people who have been the Kenya Kwanza Alliance members. We've seen the party leader for ANC, Musalia Mudavadi, is here as well. Moses Wetangula is here as well. So quite a number of and a number of them who are also just coming to join in the party as they see what the future of the alliance looks like, because we had been told, despite the fact that most of the members there had already joined the alliance pre-election, the coalition also had left room for those who wanted to form coalitions or pacts post-election. So perhaps we'll be seeing quite a bit of that. We don't know. But as it is right now, Yvonne, it's, like I mentioned earlier, a game of wait and see as they wait for the president-elect to come out and address them. Yvonne?
Thank you, Brenda. From the Deputy President's residence in Karen, leaders congregated waiting, just as the nation is, for the address from William Samoei Ruto, the 5th President-elect of the Republic of Kenya, following the dismissal of the petitions that were lodged at the Supreme Court this morning by the 7 Supreme Court judges in their judgment that was unanimous in upholding the election and declaration of William Samoei Ruto as the 5th President-elect on the 15th of August. That was about 6 days after Kenyans went to the polls on the 9th of August to elect their leaders across 6 various positions. And as you can see from your screens there, elected leaders, party leaders, leading lights of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, as well as others there, congregated waiting for the president-elect to make his address. You can see there, a number of aspirants, some of them former elected governors, elected members of National Assembly, members of Senate, governors, senators, as well as other leaders, some I think who were also presidential candidates, if I'm not wrong, as well as, of course, UDA party leaders that you can see there. So this is what we await. I believe that's a former presidential candidate, David Maure Wahiga, who's present there. You can see Alice Wahome. You can see a number of other leaders. You can see the Kiambu governor, Wamatangi, as well as the party leader of PA, who's the now former governor of Kilifi County, as well as several other elected leaders. You can see their former governor of Machakos County, Dr. Alfred Mutua, many others who are here as we await this address that is set to happen any moment now. Brenda Wanga is there and tells us this is set to happen. You can see the former speaker there, Justin Muturi. You can see former governor Nanok, who was heading the William Samoei Ruto Presidential Secretariat. You can see the UDA leader there as well. Several other leaders who are congregated here at Karen. This is the Deputy Presidential Residence. This residence will soon be occupied by somebody new, and that is Rigathi Gachagua, who is the Deputy President-elect, while the person who was perhaps immediate former Deputy President and now President-elect William Ruto will be taking up a new position at State House, Nairobi. So if you take a look at the summary of the judgment, out of all those petitions, they were all, of course, dismissed. And just a quick summary of all of them is that the presidential election petition number 5 of 2022, as consolidated with presidential election petition numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 and 8 of 2022 were dismissed by the Supreme Court judges. As a consequence, the Supreme Court judges declared the election of the first respondent, that's William Samoei Ruto, as president-elect to be valid under Article 143 of the Constitution, and because this was a public interest matter, The judges ordered that each party shall bear their own costs. Those were the 3 final orders that were set out and read out by Supreme Court Justice, that is Martha Koome, and those decisions were unanimous. The final orders were unanimous as well. Remember, they had set out 8 issues for determination. The 9th issue was, of course, the reliefs that were being sought. It's been perhaps what some would say has been a rather eventful 14 days of the Supreme Court from the moment of petition. So this is what happened on the 15th of August, 6 days after the election. Wafula Chebukati, who was the chair, announced the results. And based on those results, the chair declared William Samoei Ruto the first respondent as the president-elect. And the declaration precipitated 9 petitions that were filed. Out of those 9, 2 were dismissed. The court heard 24 interlocutory applications, 1 preliminary objection. Like we said, 2 out of the 9 petitions that were filed were struck out. That is petitions number 6 and number 9. And they were struck out for failure to meet the constitutional threshold as set out in Article 140 of the Constitution of Kenya. On the 29th of August, 3 amici curiae briefs were admitted by the court. That is from the LSK, the Law Society of Kenya, the International Commission of Jurists, that's the ICJ, and John Walubengo, and 2 others. Now, because all 7 petitions substantially raised similar issues and sought similar reliefs, they were then consolidated into 1. That is on the 30th of August, and given the number 005 as the lead file. And then, of course, after that, we had the 7 Supreme Court judges crystallizing the issues for determination into 8. Those were deliberated upon, and each of those issues was dismissed. We've gone through those already, but I can lead you through them now. Of the 8 issues, they said that the technology that was deployed by IEBC met the standard. They said there was no interference with the uploading and transmission of Forms 34A. The Supreme Court judges also found that there was no difference between Forms 34A uploaded on the portal and those that were delivered to the National Tallying Center at the Bomas of Kenya. They then found that the postponement of election in 8 areas, that is 2 counties, as well as constituencies and county wards, they found that the postponement in those areas did not in fact affect voter turnout. They also found no discrepancies between the votes cast for presidential candidates and other positions. For the 6th issue that they had set out for determination, the Supreme Court judges unanimously found that the election was carried out in line with Article 138 of the Constitution of Kenya. And they went on to find that the president-elect, as declared on the 15th of August 2022, attained the threshold of 50% plus 1 votes of all the votes cast. They found, therefore, that the irregularities and illegalities that had been raised by the petitioners did not, in fact, affect the final tally of the presidential election, and then went on to dismiss the presidential petition in its entirety, asking or requiring each party to bear their own costs. And that is what brings us to this moment now, where we await the president-elect, William Ruto, to make his speech and address the nation, as well as those elected leaders who are congregated at the Deputy President residence in Karen. And what you see on your screens is reactions from Kapsabet, from Nandi. We've taken you to Kisii, to Kwale, to Garissa, to Mombasa, and to various areas across the country as we continue to see the next steps that happen now. The swearing in, of course, is expected to take place 7 days from now, that is next week. But in the meantime, both houses of the National Assembly of Parliament, that is the National Assembly and the Senate, are expected to have their first sittings on the 8th of September, that's this week, that is following the gazettement of those sittings by the President. Let me just read you the Gazette notice. For the first sitting of the National Assembly, this is by President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying, in exercise of the powers conferred by Article 126(2) of the Constitution of Kenya, I, Uhuru Kenyatta, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, appoint that the first sitting of the National Assembly shall be held at the main Parliament buildings in the National Assembly Chamber on the 8th of September 2022 at 9 o'clock. That is a Gazette notice dated today. And the same reads for the first sitting of the Senate. That will be happening as well at the main Parliament buildings at the Senate Chamber, Nairobi, on the 8th of September at 9 a.m. Of course, first on the list there will be swearing in of those members of Parliament, both the Senate and the National Assembly, and then of course they will seek to determine their leadership. That is the leader, various leadership positions there, the majority leader, the minority leader, and of course the Speaker of both houses, that is the Senate and the National Assembly. And then House business will officially begin thereafter. And of course, also next week, after President-elect William Ruto is sworn in as the 5th President of the Republic, many Kenyans will be now looking to see what his government will look like, how will he constitute his cabinet, who will be the members of the same, and how that process then goes through the vetting at the National Assembly. All right, so that is what we await. Perhaps we can listen to some of, because it looks like there's some color in Nakuru County, that is Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika. Let's listen to that.
Asante, asante na Mungu awabariki. Pia nilikuja kwenyu nikawaomba kazi na kwa ukweli mulinishikilia na mukanipatia kazi. So may God bless you kabisa. Na mjue mimi zile vitu tuliongea wakati wa kampeni sikuwa nasema tu ili munipatie kazi. Nilikuwa nazisema ili mkinipatia kazi nitaanza kuzifanya. Ndio hiyo. Kwa hivyo very shortly mtaona kazi imeanza. Nitawaletea ile pesa ya mahasla muweze kujiinua kwa biashara. Nitakuja tupange hii town. Tumeweka komiti ya kutusaidia ili so that kama town service alone wanarudi zao hapa tujue wenye watarudi. Ndio hiyo. Na pia tumesema nimetembea pale juzi nikaona zile vitu pia zinaleta shida kwa parking. Tutasema tutareduce ili town irudi sawa sawa. Lakini nataka mjue uchumi itakuwa namba 1 kufufua na kuamsha uchumi. Maneno pia niliwaambia
Haya, mumejaribu kabisa. Lakini sasa nataka msikie instruction, tuweke safari moja pamoja na hii watu. Mkuwe tayari pamoja na hawa. Votan. Haya, mkuwe tayari, tafuta votan. Alama wingi tena, tuweke wingi. Haya, votan. Huwa tunakutana na nini kanisani? Hii maneno ya mwatani mlitoa wapi? Kwa hiyo waliote hii.
With His Excellency the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, his wife Pastor Dorcas Gachagua in tow. So kindly let us take our seats, and we do not want anybody at the back of the dais. We all need to come to the front on this side. Nobody be at the back. So if you have a seat, kindly take your seat as we get ready to receive His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Let's have some background music as we continue. Just some background music, but if you have a seat, kindly take your seat, because once we have His Excellency here, we'll have minimal movement, we'll not have any movement, so kindly let us take our seats as we wait for His Excellency, the President, to join us shortly. Once he gets here, we're going to stand up for the national anthem, then followed by the East African anthem, then we shall hear his address as guided. We have His Excellency Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua with his wife, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, coming in now, joining us. And why don't we give them a warm reception as we clap for them? It's been a long journey. It's been a journey. And we have the Deputy President and the spouse to the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, joining us. Come on, let's give them a warm, warm welcome. Karibuni sana, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and your spouse, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. Karibuni sana. Come on, let's stand up and just give them the honor that is due. Wonderful. Let us now, who's going to be joining us very, very shortly. And I can see His Excellency the President and the First Lady. Let us be upstanding as we welcome them. Wonderful, wonderful. They are looking good. They are looking wonderful. It's been a journey, and we thank God for this far He has brought us. Welcome for the President. Sing it, Gloria. All right, kindly cue the music. Let us all, anybody who is sitting, kindly let us stand up for the national anthem. Then after that, we're going to have the East African anthem as we then wait to hear from there. So let's have the national anthem. Thank you. All right, we are going to start with a word of prayer, and we are going to ask the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, to lead us in a prayer. Welcome.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we stand here to worship and to honor your holy name. You are God all by yourself. We thank you for the great country of Kenya, and to every person that came out to vote and exercise their democratic right. Our Lord and our God, we bless you, we honor you, and as we stand here, Jehovah God, to celebrate another milestone where Kenya, Jehovah God, is being lifted up to become a country where God reigns. We worship you and we honor you for the President who you have given to us, and the Deputy President, our Lord, and everyone who has been elected. We pray for the unity of all Kenyans, that we will become one people and one nation. Let the unity of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit become our national anthem. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you very much. You may take your seats, those of you that have seats. And we'd like to now call Honorable Eden Duale to just come and address us. Welcome. Oh, for prayers, sorry. I beg your pardon.
Let's pray. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, praise be to Allah, Lord of the world, the most gracious and the most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you we worship, and upon we call for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who are blessed. You have blessed, not of those against whom there is anger, and none of those who are misguided. Amen.
Thank you very much. So for now, I'd like us to, those of us who are seated, stand up as we welcome the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, to come and to just address us from the podium. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali. It might take getting used to kuzoea hiyo title mpya, lakini zoea.
The President of the Republic of Kenya, the one and only Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mama Rachel Ruto, the First Family, and all of us who are here today. God is good, and all the time. Do I have anything to say? Your Excellency, today is a great day for this country. It marks the beginning of the economic transformation of the Republic of Kenya. We are here not to say that we have achieved this victory, but to say that this victory was the work of God. Amen. The rocks that were put in our path could not be lifted by a human being. It is all the work of God. And I must say that we have seen the heart of God all through for the last 4.5 years. It's been a long and a tedious journey. Against all the odds, against serious mobilization and weaponization of the state machinery, today, the son of an ordinary Kenyan whose father and mother are not known is the President of the Republic of Kenya. We thank God. I remember last year, we attended a church function at 7 a.m. somewhere in Kano. And there was an evangelist from Nigeria, and he tried to explain to us why our outgoing leader had abandoned William Ruto. And he told us not to worry. It was all God's doing, so that when he becomes president, no man can say he made you king. Therefore, we give glory to God, and we thank the people of Kenya for what they have done for their country. This is a great country, and Kenya has no problem. The problem of Kenya is one of leadership. Once you put the right leadership into place, this is a beautiful country with very resourceful and hard-working people. All you need is to create the right environment for the people of Kenya to prevail. And I have no doubt, agreeing with the rest of Kenyans, that the men we have put into office, Dr. William Ruto, is up to the task. So, Your Excellency, mine is with a lot of humility to assure you that myself and the team under you, we shall give you the necessary support so that you can pretend over the transformation of this beautiful country. We shall work day and night, but I must admit that though we may not be able to be as hardworking, to be as zealous, to be as passionate as you are, we'll give it our best shot. And I want to urge all our colleagues in this struggle, those who have been persecuted, those who have wounds, please, let this victory heal all our wounds. And let us get to work. We have work to do. We are inheriting a dilapidated country with a 10 trillion public debt. We are inheriting a country with 6 million young people who have no jobs. We are inheriting a country with 14 million Kenyans in CRB. We have work to do. And let nobody cheat you that it is easy. We have to work from day one. So let bygones be bygones, and let all those who are against us, we invite them to join us. We build this country together. We have nothing against anybody because we are Kenyans and we are good people. And all we want is the economic transformation of our beautiful country. Before I invite our president, let me take this opportunity, Your Excellency, if you may allow me, give a word of assurance to the public service. We are aware that your morale is low. We are aware you feel demeaned. We are aware you have become non-productive because of what you have been taken through. I want to assure you on behalf of my boss that our first job is to restore the dignity of the public service. Our first job is to cushion civil servants from harassment by officers in the police force under the guise of fighting corruption. Our work is to protect the civil servants from extortion. Our work is to make sure that we get a working public service to assist us in the management of the affairs of this country. And I have no doubt in my mind that if all of us support Dr. William Ruto and his team, in a year's time, he will restore Kenya to where President Mwai Kibaki left us. It is now I'm the most privileged person to invite a brand new president. So join me in inviting the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to come and say something.
Asanteni sana. Tafadhali tuketi chini. Of course you agree with me that I am overwhelmed. This is a moment like no other. And let me first take this opportunity to thank the Almighty God. Yes, it is God. I say it is God. Without God, we wouldn't be here. I have gone through many difficult situations, but because of God, we are here today to celebrate that today the people of Kenya have made a choice, and that choice has been confirmed by our judiciary. Let me first and foremost say we are truly grateful as a team, as the Kenya Kwanza team. We are grateful to God because we have come a long journey. We have worked hard. But as the Bible teaches us in Proverbs 20 verse 7, that some trust in chariots and others trust in horses, but we trust in God. It's not the waking up early. It is not the working long hours. It is the favor and the grace of God that has gotten us here. And we are acutely aware of that. Let me also, in a very special way, thank many people who have prayed for us from across the religious divide. Many people have prayed for us. In fact, I said on the day I was given the certificate, I said we were prayed into victory. I want to thank many people who prayed across this country. Many people fasted, and we are truly, truly grateful. And I want to say to the people of Kenya and to those who have made effort to get us here that we will not let you down. We will work hard and we will not let you down. Let me also, in a very special way, thank my friends, starting with my wife Rachel, who prays for me every day. Before I leave the door from that house behind me, she always holds my hands and prays for me. And my children, for believing in me and always encouraging me. Very special thanks goes to my friends seated here, the people we started this journey with, under very difficult circumstances. I know many of you have suffered because of being my friends. Many of you have been taken to court. Many of you have been harassed, your children, members of your families. The only crime is that you chose me as a friend. I don't take it for granted that you are my friends. We started with many of you who are formerly members of Jubilee. You know what happened to us. I do not want to say. But we believed in a better Kenya. We believed in a freer, more democratic, more rational Kenya. Along the way, many brothers and sisters joined us from other political parties. I want to also say a very big thank you to them. They gave momentum to our journey. And I want to say asante sana. Let me also congratulate and recognize and appreciate the people of Kenya who believed in us. They went out of their way. Under very difficult circumstances, they believed in us. They listened to us. You know, the legendary Mamamboga and Boda Boda guys, they are the heroes of our campaign. They defined this election. They were the embodiment of our quest for a better economy for our Kenya, for our country. The millions of Kenyans who believed in us. Today, by voting for me, the millions who woke up early to go and vote, they have not only voted for me, but they have opened doors and gates for their own children in every village, in every neighborhood, knowing very well that their children as well can become leaders. And every child is free to dream, and every child is free to aspire to any office. And working hard, believing in God, they can get wherever they want to go. I think my election opens possibilities for all our children, irrespective of their background, irrespective of where they come from, irrespective of their financial status. But this afternoon, with the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court of Kenya, our lengthy, suspenseful, and protracted election has come to an end. My fellow presidential candidates and I made our respective cases before Kenyans and submitted ourselves to their sovereign decision at the ballot. After the result for scrutiny to make sure beyond all doubt that the will of the people had prevailed, the court returned its verdict, and I welcome it with tremendous humility. I salute the judges of the Supreme Court who have performed their duty with utmost fidelity to the Constitution. They listened to all parties, considered all issues, applied the law, and demonstrated their learning, impartiality, and patriotism. Their professionalism has elevated the stature of the judiciary, enhanced the place of petition process in legitimating election results as the true reflection of the people's decision, and afforded the nation an opportunity to reflect. It also afforded come to terms with the implications of the last general election. I do not take this for granted, and I thank the judiciary in general and the Supreme Court in particular for staying strong as the shining beacon of constitutionalism and the rule of law, even in the most daunting of circumstances. And you know what I mean. The Supreme Court scrutinized, examined, and dissected and tested the declaration of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission against the high standard established by the Constitution. The decision vindicated the Commission's effort to go all the way and deliver an election that exceeded public expectation and fully met the constitutional threshold of a secure, transparent, free, fair, and accountable election. The return of a unanimous decision on all the 9 issues confirms the fidelity of the IEBC to both the law and the Constitution. I therefore commend the Commission for their noble achievement at tremendous and regrettable cost to serve the people of Kenya by ensuring that their sovereign will is upheld. As I do that, we are all aware that there are men and women who lost lives in this election when they shouldn't. There was blackmail, threats, intimidation, and all manner of attempts to subvert the will of the people. The IEBC stood firm. The judiciary has vindicated the IEBC. This appreciation takes us to the point of proper appreciation of the just concluded legal process. Many of our supporters were a little unhappy about the delay, and some might have been tempted to impute bad faith in the petitioners who they say they saw to be taking advantage of the law to frustrate their wishes as expressed through the ballot. A lot of this anxiety is the result of long-standing suspicion of national institutions, especially when political contestation is involved. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 has done a lot to create comfort in institutions and the rule of law, and we continue to make encouraging progress on the path towards becoming a higher trust society, standing fully on its constitution. It was therefore perfectly legitimate for the petitioners to go before the Supreme Court to have their questions answered, doubts assuaged, and fears allayed. By exercising their constitutional right to take advantage of opportunities to establish the truth, the petitioners tested the results and inscribed upon it the highest stamp of judicial, legal, and constitutional approval. Our electoral and judicial institutions have won, and the Constitution has asserted itself and prevailed. My esteemed competitors now have a credible basis on which to consider the outcome, and we are vindicated by the choice of the people of Kenya. The court's decision completes the loop of institutional stewards of the rule of law, entrench our Constitution, and express the sovereign will of the people who have articulated themselves quite eloquently, directly, and through their constitutional institutions. I congratulate all patriotic Kenyans who presented themselves as presidential candidates. It is not an easy decision, and a national campaign is not a walk in the park at best. I want all of you to know that your effort is acknowledged and deeply appreciated. Wahiga Mwaure and Ruth Musheru, George Wajakoya and Justina Wamai, the Honorable Raila Odinga and the Honorable Martha Karua. May the spirit of love for country and selfless service lie long in your hearts, and may Almighty God always remember you. Competitive electoral politics can make and has made our politics an arena utterly devoid of grace. This fills the life of political candidates with loneliness, worry, and exaggerated sense that the stakes are do or die, and elections therefore matters of life and death. It poisons political competition, exterminating the sporting spirit which unites winners and losers by enabling them to access the grace to define their relationship in terms of what they share and not what divides them. Democracy is expected to unite a people, strengthen their society, and improve their institutions, and must not become an acrimonious, fearful, and desperate enterprise. We offered alternative visions and missions and submitted to the sovereign decision of the citizens of Kenya. We are only competitors, not enemies. We vied to unite and strengthen Kenya, not to divide and weaken it. I therefore consider all of my competitors to be my worthy compatriots. Kenyans are united in the quest for a better society that is kinder to its children, gentler on the vulnerable, respectful of their rights, and committed to serving them. Those who voted for me, as well as those who voted for my competitors, want the same thing for themselves and for their children. I honor this aspiration, and I am committed to do and to rise up early, work hard all day, every day, so that we can realize it together. My deputy and I and the Kenya Kwanza team pledge to make Kenya a country of everybody and everyone. My administration shall do justice to all, regardless of their social status, religion, ethnicity, gender, whether they voted at all or whom they voted for. I therefore extend a hand of brotherhood to all my competitors and to all their supporters. We are not enemies, we are Kenyans. Let us unite to make Kenya a nation where everyone shall be proud to call home. My administration will recognize in full the now established tradition of honoring our leaders who have served this nation and shall not in any manner interfere with their privileges and their entitlements in retirement. They are revered elders of our nation who deserve respect at all times. It is now time for us to prepare for the day when we wake up to the momentous duty to serve Kenyans. Let us all reflect on our contribution and look forward to build this country and nation together to achieve the glory of Kenya, express its heritage and splendor, and fill every Kenyan heart with thanksgiving. As I said earlier, the hero of our campaign is the legendary Mama Mboga and Boda Boda. The hero of the election is one Wafula Chebukati and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And the hero of our democracy and the rule of law and constitutionalism is our judiciary. We celebrate all Kenyans, and I pledge and commit to work as the Kenya Kwanza team in making sure that we take Kenya to the next level. I will be making a much more comprehensive statement further down the road. I thought I should recognize everybody who has made a contribution towards this success today. As I said, it's not about me and my good brother Gachagua and the leaders who are here. It's about all millions of Kenyans who have made a contribution to us getting where we have. I will shortly be putting a call to my good friend, President Uhuru Kenyatta. We have not I haven't talked to him in months. But shortly I will bring a call to him so that we can have a conversation on the process of transition. I know he worked hard in his own way, but the people of Kenya have made a decision. And we have absolutely no issue with the democratic choices of any Kenyan. You remember I said earlier, when I chose to support Uhuru Kenyatta, I did not give him conditions that he must support me. I have made that very clear. So I take no offense at all that he decided to choose and support somebody else. And therefore, we will remain friends as we have been in the context of where we are. And, and we look forward to building on the foundation that's already there in the many issues that I worked with him, and be able to take Kenya to the next level in the many things that we would have wanted to do that we did not do. We are a very responsible people. Government is a continuous enterprise, and we will complete all the projects that have not been completed, as we have said, and we will build on that foundation the programs that we have committed to the people of Kenya, and we will hit the ground running because we are aware of what we need to do. I will also be putting a call to my worthy competitors, beginning with Raila Odinga, my worthy competitor, with his Azimio team, so that we can begin to contextualize how we are going to work together for the people of Kenya. Those of us who will be working from the executive, and the Azimio team who will be working from the opposition. And as I committed to the people of Kenya, I believe in the rule of law. I do not believe in the handshake stories. I believe in an accountable government held to account by a responsible opposition. That is how Kenya is going to move forward. And so I look forward to a conversation on how they will hold us to account and make sure that we deliver on the commitments that we have made to the people of Kenya, and public resources are put to good use in an accountable manner, and so that we can reap the benefits of what the people of Kenya have done in electing us into office. We will then be working with all the other people as we get down to doing what we committed to the people of Kenya that we do. I know there is huge expectation. Many people are texting me and asking, when is the Hustler Fund going to be launched? Many people are asking me, many farmers want to know when subsidized fertilizer will be available so that they can get on with the journey or with the business of growing food for us so that we can reduce the cost of living. Many farmers are asking when we are going to begin the journey on agro-processing and value addition. Many people across Kenya want to know when we are going to begin our housing program. I want to commit that as soon as we are sworn into office, in fact, beginning tomorrow, I will be working with the people in government offices so that by the time we get sworn in, we will have work to do and begin the process of implementing our plan. Let me say to all of you, I know many people have come here. I know many members of parliament are here, many governors are here, many senators are here, members of county assemblies. Let me take this opportunity in a very special way to recognize our legal team, led by Senior Counsel Fred Ngatia and Senior Counsel Kioko Kilukumi and Senior Counsel Kiragu, and of course my chief agent and team leader of the legal team, Professor Abraham Kidhure Kindiki. And all the senior lawyers here, let me not mention all their names. We had the best legal team anybody could assemble. And we are very proud of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for protecting our victory and for doing your bit. I remember when I talked to them, I told them those of us who are politicians have done our bit. We handed over the baton to them, and I told them they should not drop the baton. And they brought it home in one piece, and we want to celebrate them. Tuwapige makofi jameni hawa makofi. Let me also say, for good record, that these great men and women, our legal team, volunteered their services for free. It is amazing that they said this is a patriotic duty they are doing for their country. And they were going to donate their time, their intellect, their professionalism to make sure that they do that is what is right for Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely appreciate on behalf of the Kenya Kwanza team your sacrifice, your contribution, and your commitment to this journey. Asanteni sana. Of course, there are many volunteers. There are many volunteers who came across. There are many people who supported us in many ways. There are many people who contributed merchandise. Many people contributed resources of all types, merchandise, airtime, equipment, transport, and it was just amazing. We ran a campaign. Many people believed that I was very organized, but I want to tell you it was, it was not me. Everybody made a contribution. That's why the whole thing looked seamless. We didn't have to push nobody to do nothing. Everybody did what they were supposed to do without asking. So I want to say thank you very much to our team. I want to announce that this marks the end of the politics of deceit and the politics of betrayal and the politics of conmanship. It is the end. We want the politics of the Kenya of the future. Every leader must be held to account on what they say, and they must match what they say with what they do. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that with the opportunity God has given us, we want to have a country based on the rule of law, as my deputy has said, the criminal justice system will be reserved for fighting criminals and criminality and making sure that public resources are protected and criminals are brought to book. The criminal justice system will never be used again for political reasons. Let me say it again. The criminal justice system will never be used again against those who have a contrary view, political view to ours. I want our competitors to rest assured that though the rest of us have been subjected to threats, blackmail, intimidation, and unnecessary fights, I commit that under our administration, nobody will be vilified or victimized or prosecuted for holding a contrary political view from ours. This is a democratic country, and we want to remain so. Our competitors have nothing to fear, like the way many of our supporters have had everything to fear for being our friends or for holding a contrary view from those who wielded power. So, and as I have said, we will respect our President, Uhuru Kenyatta, in his retirement. We will give him the respect and dignity a former head of state deserves. We are honorable people. We are not petty, and we are not jealous. He has done a good job, and he will have his place in the history of Kenya. So nobody should peddle any falsehoods or that we harbor anything against the President of Kenya. When our good friend Raila Odinga retires also, we will give him the respect he deserves as a Kenyan leader who has made a huge contribution to the democracy of our nation, and every other leader that deserves respect. So to all our friends out there, we want to grow a nation. We want to build a society that is based on the rule of law and respect for our elders. So let me leave it there for now. The rest of the things we are going to say, I will take maybe 1 or 2 questions so that we can conclude this press conference. Na nitasema kwa Kiswahili, nitajibu maswali kwa Kiswahili. Si tumekubaliana? Kama mnataka niseme Kiswahili kidogo, nimesema ya kwamba kwa niaba ya team ya Kenya Kwanza tunamshukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya kutupatia ushindi. Ushindi si ya William Ruto na Gachagua, ni ushindi wa mamilioni ya Wakenya walioamka asubuhi na mapema kupiga kura ili hata na watoto wao waweze kupata nafasi ya kuwa na ndoto ya kuwa viongozi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Nimesema vile vile ya kwamba tunawashukuru wale wote, hasa IEBC ambayo ilisimamia uchaguzi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Mbali na changamoto za makomishona ambao waligawanyika pale mwisho, IEBC ilifanya uchaguzi ambao ulikuwa wa huru na haki, na kila Mkenya ametosheka. Ma-MCA wamechaguliwa, wabunge wamechaguliwa, maseneta wamechaguliwa, magavana wamechaguliwa, na leo mahakama ya upeo imeidhinisha uchaguzi wa rais pamoja na naibu wa rais, kumaanisha kwamba IEBC ilifanya kazi ya muhimu, na nimesema shujaa wa uchaguzi huu ni Wafula Chebukati na makamishna waliohakikisha ya kwamba uchaguzi huu haujapatilishwa na watu ambao walikuwa na njama ya kuharibu uchaguzi wetu. Nimesema vile vile tutapata nafasi kama viongozi kuongea na rais wetu ambaye anaenda kustaafu, ili tuweze kupanga mambo ya kukamilisha succession kwa njia na taratibu ambayo iko na heshima. Na nimesema vile vile kama vile tuko na desturi kama taifa, viongozi wetu wote wale ambao ni elders wa taifa letu, viongozi wanaostaafu kama rais, watapata heshima na watapata haki yao katika mahali pa heshima katika taifa letu la Kenya, na hakuna wasiwasi yeyote kwa mtu yeyote kwamba kutatokea na jambo lolote. Yale ambayo yamefanyika, Waswahili wanasema yaliyopita si ndwele, tugange yaliyomo na yajayo, na hivyo ndivyo tutakavyofanya. Tumekubali vile vile ya kwamba kamwe criminal justice system katika taifa letu la Kenya haitatumika kuendesha mambo ya siasa katika taifa letu. Wakuwe na msimamo tofauti ya kisiasa bila ya kujali ya kwamba watashurutishwa, watalazimishwa, watafunguliwa mashtaka yasiyo na maana. Hiyo haitafanyika katika taifa letu pale tukiwa viongozi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Wananchi wengi wamehangaishwa, wamesumbuliwa, wamefanyiwa mambo mengi kwa sababu ya misimamo yao ya kisiasa, na tumesema haya mambo tutayakomesha. Tunataka kuwa na nchi ya demokrasia, mahali maoni ya kila mtu ni ya muhimu na hakuna mtu atashurutishwa kuwa na msimamo mmoja ama msimamo mwingine. Any questions, good people? Thank you very much. I don't think you have any questions. Uko na swali ya kusema nini? Sema jina.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Congratulations on your win. My name is Ibrahim Karanja. I work for NTV. Yes, you have repeatedly said during the time the IEBC declared you as a winner, and even now when the Supreme Court has upheld your win, that you will work your government and with the opposition to the extent that it remains in the opposition. From where you sit, how should Kenyans take then your move of incorporating members of parliament who were elected in what were opposition parties in the election? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You know, as I have said, there are many people who today are in Azimio, not because they want to be. We have many people who are forced, blackmailed, threatened into belonging to Azimio. There are many leaders. If many of these leaders, if they tell you their stories, they are horror stories. Many of them were told, if you don't join Azimio, this court case, KRA, will be brought on you, and many other threats. And that's why I said the other day, our good brothers, competitors on the other side, they have to really think of how to take their coalition into the future now that they don't have the instruments of blackmail, threats, and intimidation. Because they have built their coalition using force and blackmail. And you know, this is a country, a democratic country, and you cannot force anybody to make political choices they don't want. Imagine, even a law was passed that makes people prisoners of a certain coalition. That once you sign a piece of paper here, and they make sure you sign that piece of paper at night when the lights are switched off. And then you are told, once you sign, you cannot leave. You know, that is not a country that we all wanted to belong to. So there will be people who will want to join Kenya Kwanza, and you know, a majority of the people who have decided to come and join Kenya Kwanza actually were people who we were together before. They were just boxed into a corner, threatened, blackmailed, and told they must belong to a different formation. So, because we are a country of free choices, yeah, I want you to know that we will have an opposition in Kenya. There will be no handshake like the one we witnessed before that creates a mongrel of a government where nobody knows where the line is. That one will not happen. But there will be people who will choose because of preference, because, for example, I'm sure maybe you are talking about Ali Roba and his team. Ali Roba and his team are members of Jubilee. We were together. Or Kiraitu Murungi for that matter. These are people we were together. They were just told, you must be here, otherwise X, Y, and Z will happen. Now that we are breathing fresh air and freedom has arrived, they are now they can now make the choices. Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes, my good friend. Mpatie ule microphone.
Congratulations, Sir President William Ruto.
Asante.
My name is Kevin Mihona from Mwangaza TV.
Yes.
Your Excellency President, there are young men like us who had some different thought about the verdict of this ruling of the court. What would be your encouragement to them? They are burning. I've been from the streets of Nairobi, and some of them are burning. Kindly tell them a word of hope. Thank you.
As I have said, two things. We are a democracy. And in a democracy, the majority have their way, the minority have their say. Number two, I have said here, the administration we are going to run is the administration that is going to serve all Kenyans, irrespective of whether they voted at all or whoever they voted for. We are going to serve the people who voted for us and those who did not vote for us, because we are going to run the government of Kenya. And the government of Kenya is going to be the government of Kenya for all Kenyans. So they have absolutely nothing to worry. Nothing to worry. We are going to serve all Kenyans equally. Yes?
Mr. President, congratulations.
Thank you.
My dream was to be a professional footballer, but I had to kill that dream. What's your plan now that you're in power in terms of stadium and making sure the football in this country works? Because there are so many dreams out there have been killed because of individual selfish reasons. What's your plan on that one?
The same way the people of Kenya have made my dream a citizen from nowhere come true. As I have told you, I will work hard. You have read our manifesto on matters to do with sports, and we will work hard to deliver on our commitment so that people like yourself and many more who have dreams and their dreams stagnated or died because there was no opportunity, that we create that opportunity so that people like yourself or even other people who have aspirations like yours can also attain or make their dreams come true. That's how. That's how. Yes, one last question. Yes, give
Yeah, my name is Ken Jenga Wambui from Minoro TV.
Yes.
We understand that from the Constitution, Chapter 9, Article 141, the President shall be sworn in the first Tuesday after 7 days. What is this one thing that you will promise Kenyans that you will deliver within the first 100 days once you assume office?
There are many things, Njenga Wambui. And how is Inoro, by the way? It's good to have you around. And I want to promise you that you will be treated equally like all other Kenyans. I know sometimes people think the people who really fought hard against us that we have grudges. We don't. We are Democrats. And we will work together. However, your question on the first 100 days, let me not say it today. I will be making a statement on my inauguration. Just be patient kidogo. Sawa Bwana Njenga. Asante. One last one. Where are my good friends from Citizen? No, it was
Citizen.
Where are they? Hawako?
No, it's okay.
Congratulations on your win, Mr. President.
Thank you.
My name is Brenda Wanga from Citizen TV. I know you have said you will give a comprehensive statement a little bit later on what you intend to do in your first 100 days. You've said that in your manifesto before, but I know most of us are quite concerned and would like to know what your plans are in regards to fighting graft. That has been quite a big issue during this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think it's a fair question. And how is my good friend Leto, by the way? And say hello to Chemutai Goinchi. So, as I have said, I am going to make a comprehensive statement. And I want to promise you that among the things I want to do on the 100 days, one of them is going to be about tackling corruption. So expect a statement and expect there are two things that I said in the manifesto. Number one is the judiciary fund, and number two is to have an accounting officer for the police and the entire criminal justice system, so that they will never depend again on resources from the office of the president. They will have their own independent budget and an accounting officer, so that they can go after anybody that is involved in graft or in wastage or in theft without getting permission from the office of the president. We will treat those institutions as the Constitution expects us, as independent institutions. But I'm going to make a statement about on that, or as among the things that will be in my 100 days to do list. Sawa. Very good. Otherwise, I think we can leave it there for today. Mimi nataka niwaambie asante sana for coming. All the good friends from the media, thank you very much. We're going to be sharing information with you as often as we can. And I am just requesting that let's put the campaign behind us and let us look into the future together. We may all have supported different candidates, but the people of Kenya have made a choice. Sindio? Sasa tujipange tu kwenda mbele pamoja. Bas, asanteni sana na watakia baraka ya Mungu. Thank you.
All right, kindly let's remain seated. Kindly let's remain seated for a minute. We'd just like to have a few photographs, Your Excellency, with your permission. So those of you that have seats, kindly just remain seated very quickly. We'll just have photo ops with His Excellency and the Deputy President-elect, followed by another picture with their spouses. Then we shall also have the legal team, followed by members of Parliament. So His Excellency the President-elect, the First Lady, the Deputy President-elect, and the spouse to the Deputy President. Wonderful picture right there. Next, we'd like to call the legal team. So we'll ask His Excellency to just step back so that the podium is bigger. We'll have the legal team to have the next picture.
Yeah, this is a statement from the Commission as regards the verdict of the Supreme Court today on the presidential election petitions. The Commission appreciates Kenyans for peacefully exercising their democratic right to vote on the 9th of August in accordance with Article 38 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In fulfillment of the Constitution, the Commission put in place a robust and transparent election infrastructure to ensure that the votes cast were counted, electronically transmitted, verified, tallied, announced, and declared in line with Articles 81 and 86 of the Constitution. The general election was conducted by about 1,000 dedicated permanent employees of the Commission, assisted by over 400,000 temporary staff countrywide. The Commission is grateful to this staff for a job well done. Additionally, the Commission recognizes the support by stakeholders, including the judiciary, the National Police Service, and service providers who participated in the electoral process. The Commission gives special recognition to development partners who provided support that bridged financial gaps in the Commission's budget. In the course of discharging our constitutional duty, the Commission and its staff endured harassment, intimidation, abduction, arrests, and some lost their lives. It's tragic that Mr. Daniel Mushoka, a returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, was abducted and tortured to death in the line of duty. In addition, Mr. Geoffrey Kitobu, a returning officer for Kishugu constituency, died in what could be election-related stress upon completion of elections in his constituency. In this general election, the abuse of IEBC staff reached an unimaginable scale. Apart from the 2 deaths, the Commission and staff suffered other atrocities, including, but not limited to, assault and injury of the chairman, Commissioners Professor Abdi Gulier and Boya Molu, and the Commission Secretary and Chief Executive Officer Mr. Marijan Hussein at the National Tallying Center during the declaration of results. Unwarranted arrest of a voter education coordinator by anti-terrorist police unit on the floor of the National Tallying Center, who was detained for 3 days. Abduction, torturing, and holding incommunicado for 9 hours of the managed election operations and the support staff by persons to be believed to be security agencies. Attempted arrest of 3 staff members who are lawfully verifying election results on the floor of National Tallying Center. Abduction of staff of a service provider working at the National Communication Center. Harassment and physical assault of staff of service providers manning heavy-duty printing and photocopying machines at the National Election Communication Center. Physical assault of election officials in parts of Narok, Kakamega, Kirinyaga, Wajir, Nairobi, amongst others. In one instance, a presiding officer in Eldas constituency was shot in the leg, resulting to amputation. Physical assault of returning officers bringing results to the National Tallying Center. Breaking into offices of senior commission staff at the National Tallying Center with the intention of accessing sensitive data. Ethnic profiling, targeting, and cyberbullying of members of the Commission and its staff. To date, no one has been arrested for these crimes committed against members of the Commission and its staff. As it stands, no human rights or civil society organization have condemned these heinous acts meted on the Commission and its staff. Working for IEBC should not be a death sentence. The Commission reiterates that election is a process and not an event. This process started immediately after 2017 general election, and the Commission tested its systems and processes in over the 40 by-elections in the last 5 years. Therefore, the Supreme Court judgment today is a testimony that the Commission conducted a free, fair, transparent, and credible general election that met the democratic aspirations of the people of Kenya. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is finally vindicated. We look forward to the full judgment of the Supreme Court, as well as feedback from our stakeholders during the post-election evaluation exercises which will inform areas of improvement in the electoral process. Finally, the Commission wishes to thank immensely its legal team in not only defending it, but also ensuring that the sovereign will of the people of Kenya is protected. God bless Kenya. God bless the IEBC. Thank you. That's our statement today. And unless you have 1 or 2 questions, I believe it's been a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Hassan from Citizen.
Yes, Hassan.
I'm asking about the 4 commissioners who have this the 4 other commissioners. Have you gotten to speak to them, or are you expanding a olive branch for posterity?
I don't know where that's coming from, but let me say this, that as a commission we follow the law, and it's up to them and their conscience what they want to do going forward. But as a commission we follow the law, and we have not chased away anyone. Yeah, thank you. So, situonane, asante.
All right, so we want to recap some 2 very important statements that we have just aired. I will start with the one that we've just immediately aired, and that is from the chair of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, who has decried the threats, intimidation, abduction, arrests and harassment, as well as the death of some election officials. He says he appreciates Kenyans for peacefully conducting themselves during the election, also thanking the 1,000 permanent staff and 4,000 temporary staff during this election period. He also thanked the judiciary, the National Police Service, other service providers, as well as development partners for doing that. And then, of course, talking about the intimidation, abduction, and arrests of those individuals, saying no one has yet been arrested, and that civil society members have yet to condemn what he called heinous acts. He said working for IEBC should not be a death sentence, and he says the Supreme Court judgment is a testament to the work of the IEBC, saying they have been finally vindicated. Of course, important to note that he was present together with the other two commissioners, Boya Molu and Professor Abdi Gulie, as well as the CEO, the man who heads the secretariat of the commission, Marjan Hussein Marjan. As to the role or the presence of the other commissioners, he says the commission did its work and the other 4 commissioners have not been chased away. And just before that, we heard from President-elect William Samoei Ruto, who has talked about leading a country that will follow the rule of law, saying that he will respect President Uhuru Kenyatta in his retirement and all other leaders, including Raila Odinga, when he chooses to retire. When asked about those who are joining Kenya Kwanza from the Azimio ranks, he said that many of those who are in Azimio were not there because they wanted to be, but they were blackmailed and threatened. And he says theirs is a coalition of the willing, but of course rules out a handshake, something he has said before. He also thanked Kenyans, the elected leaders, those who stood with him, as well as his legal team, whom he says donated their time for free. As to what he will do for his first 100 days, he said he will talk more about that in the days to come. And of course, talking about a country with the rule of law, that civil servants will continue to be civil servants and will not be harassed, and that reaching out, of course, to his competitors, saying we're not enemies, we're Kenyans, and that is a direct quote. And let me just say finally that he said the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court confirms the fidelity of the IEBC to both the law and the Constitution. He commended the Commission for their role, decried the loss of lives of those who worked within the Commission, and also said that it was perfectly legitimate for the petitioners to go before the Supreme Court and exercise their right there. And of course, welcoming the court verdict or judgment with tremendous humility. So those are the pictures that you're seeing now from Karen, from that just concluded speech by the President-elect of the Republic of Kenya. So those are some key press conferences that we have heard this afternoon following that Supreme Court judgment, the unanimous one, I should add, that was delivered earlier this afternoon in the country. So, of course, there is more we expect to hear from others as well, and more reactions. We've shown you those from around the country, and that is where I want to conclude part of this live newscast for now on this very momentous day when the Supreme Court has delivered its final judgment, its final verdict, putting an end to the electioneering period, and now we look forward to the events that come thereafter. This is Kenya's Choice 2022. Stay with us.
Mateso, nimepigwa faini sababu ya bima kuisha. Hukunikumbusha, lazima unirudishie hii faini.
Pole, ila nilikukumbusha kwa SMS. Itakuwa network yako mbovu. Unanilaumu bure.
Wewe Mateso, kitambi chako hakiishiwi visingizio. Uzembe wako isiwe kero kwangu. Nahitaji bima sasa hivi.
Jioni hii niko mbali. Inaweza kuwa ngumu. Au tufanye kesho.
Mama, tusimsubiri atatuchelewesha. Acha nikununulie bima sasa hivi kwenye WhatsApp tuondoke.
Kwenye WhatsApp hii?
Yes. Si unaela kwenye simu?
Ndio, za kutosha.
Inaniambia niweke namba ya siri. Salome, una uhakika niendelee?
Endelea.
Tumia bima pap kwa kupiga *150*51 au kwa WhatsApp 0764166066 ujipatie bima.
Kweli penye nia kuna njia. Nimeipata bima inasomeka halali. Kwa ujanja huu, isijekaa umechukua pesa zangu.
Mama jamani, kuna shida mwanao kufurahia raha yako kidogo?
Bima pap. Urahisi wa maisha.